Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we take your source material and deliver the essential insights you need. Today we're on a very specific mission. A listener wants to know about the Sun Home Solstice one-person infrared sauna. And, the accolades are pretty impressive. I'm seeing it named Best Infrared Sauna by Sports Illustrated, Rolling Stone, even the New York Post. So this is clearly more than just a hot box.
It is. I mean, when you look at the sources, the core idea is that this is a self-contained, ready-to-assemble unit. It's really designed for maximum therapeutic effect.
Why?
We're talking deep cellular heat, but in a very space-efficient footprint.
Okay, let's unpack this. What is the core technology that sets this thing apart?
Well, it all comes down to far infrared, or FIR, and that's a huge difference from a traditional sauna.
The kind you'd find at a gym, right, where it's just incredibly hot air.
Exactly. Traditional saunas heat the air around you, sometimes up to 180, 200 degrees. FIR is different. It uses a specific spectrum of light to heat your body directly.
So it's not really about the air temperature. The energy is bypassing the air and going straight into your body.
Precisely. It penetrates deeper into soft tissue, into your cells, to create this deep detoxifying heat, as the sources call it.
And you can get that effect at a much lower temperature, I imagine.
A much more comfortable temperature. We're talking around 125, maybe 130 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
It's a very different experience.
And it's specifically far infrared, right? The sources make a distinction.
Yes, and that's key. Near infrared is more for surface level skin stuff. Far infrared is what gives you that deep therapeutic benefit. And the Solstice is built entirely around FIR.
The build quality seems to reflect that seriousness. They talk about eco-certified, kiln-dried eucalyptus wood.
That's not just for looks. The kiln drying process is crucial to prevent the wood from warping with all the heating and cooling.
So it's designed for longevity.
It is. Reviewers mention it looks more like a sleek piece of modern furniture, not some clunky piece of gym equipment.
And it's pretty compact. The dimensions are, just over 3 feet wide and deep?
Yeah, 37.8 inches wide, 39.8 deep. It's designed to fit into a corner, which is a huge plus for home use.
Okay, now we have to talk about what seems to be the biggest hurdle here. The one thing that stops this from being a simple purchase. The electrical requirement.
This is the absolute number one thing potential buyers need to understand. You cannot just plug this in.
Not into a standard bedroom outlet.
Absolutely not. It requires a dedicated 120 volt, 20 amp circuit. You need a specific outlet, a NEMA 520.
So for most people, that means calling an electrician. That's an extra cost and a bit of a project.
It is. It's non-negotiable, and it really speaks to the power of the machine.
Right. You don't get this kind of performance without drawing serious power. How much are we talking?
About 1,350 watts. Trying to run that on a standard 15 amp circuit would just trip the breaker constantly. It would be unsafe.
So the electrical requirement is basically a sign of its professional grade power.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's the price of admission for the kind of performance it delivers.
So let's talk about that performance. What are you getting for that electrical hassle?
You're getting power and speed. The Solstice uses 8 FIR heaters, including these industry-leading 500-watt heaters.
And that translates to what, in real terms?
It translates to efficiency. The sources say it emits a near-perfect 99% effective dosage of those FIR weights. So your body is absorbing almost all of it.
And compared to competitors, the numbers are pretty stark.
They are. The sources claim it's more than double the wattage of the leading competitor and 3 times more powerful than average.
The real payoff for the user, though, has to be the heat up time.
Yes. This is a huge deal for daily use. It gets seriously hot in about 20 minutes. A lot of older or less powerful units can take 40 minutes, maybe more.
Nobody wants to wait 40 minutes every day. 20 minutes makes it a much more practical part of a routine.
Exactly. And that consistency is where the real health benefits come from. But just as important as the power is the safety.
EMF exposure is a big concern for a lot of people, especially with the device you're sitting inside of.
It is. And this is another area where it seems to excel. They have a patented shielding technology that brings the electromagnetic field exposure way down.
How far down?
Down to 0.5 milligauss, which for context is incredibly low.
Lower than most common household appliances, right?
Far lower. A microwave or a hairdryer can be much, much higher. So to get that kind of low reading from a 1350 watt machine is a serious feat of engineering.
And the safety goes beyond just EMF. The materials themselves are a big focus.
Yes, they're FDA approved, non-toxic, and specifically low in VOCs or volatile organic compounds.
How important is that in a sauna environment? I mean, low VOCs are good anywhere, but here it seems critical.
It's exponentially more critical. When you're in a heated environment, sweating, your pores are wide open. You're much more susceptible to absorbing anything that's off-gassing for the materials.
So you'd be detoxifying and retoxifying at the same time if the materials weren't clean.
That's the risk. The low VOC certification ensures this session is purely for purification.
So you've got this foundation of power and safety, but then they add these experiential layers on top.
They do. They move it from just being functional to being a full sensory experience.
Let's start with the lighting. It's called chromotherapy.
Medical-grade chromotherapy, yes. It's basically light therapy. Using different colors from the visible spectrum like calming blue or energizing red for additional therapeutic benefits.
Okay, that's a nice spa feature. But the audio system... that really caught my eye. Blaukung speakers.
Yeah, the same high-end audio brand you find in Porsche cars. It's a premium Bluetooth surround sound system.
I have to ask, is that just overkill? I mean, when you're sweating and trying to relax, does crystal clear audio really matter?
It's a fair question, but I think the sources frame it as being about compliance and ritual.
What do you mean by compliance?
If you're going to get the real longevity benefits we'll talk about later, you need to use this thing 4 to 7 times a week. You need to want to be in there.
So the high-end audio and the custom lighting make the 30-minute session something you look forward to.
Exactly. It turns a chore into a desired ritual. It makes it easier to stay consistent, and that consistency is what delivers the results.
That makes a lot of sense. And all that is backed by a pretty robust warranty.
A limited lifetime warranty, yeah. 7 years on the cabinetry and heaters, 3 on the controls. The heaters themselves are rated for at least 30,000 hours.
30,000 hours. If you use it every single day, that's...
over 100 years of operational life. It's built as a long-term, almost generational investment in your health.
Which brings us to the payoff. Why do all this? Let's get into the therapeutic benefits. The sources cite some really impressive outcomes for chronic pain.
They do. It's been shown to be effective for sports injuries, fibromyalgia, even arthritis. There was a Japanese study mentioned that was pretty remarkable.
What did it find?
Chronic pain patients saw their pain levels drop by nearly 70%. That's not just a small improvement, that's a life-changing reduction in pain.
And beyond the physical, the mental health benefits are just as compelling.
Regular use lowers cortisol, your main stress hormone. At the same time, it stimulates dopamine and serotonin.
The happy chemicals.
The happy chemicals. And there was one study that showed a 50% reduction in depression symptoms after just a single session.
One session? That's incredible. It reframes this from a luxury item to a serious tool for mood regulation.
It really does. It becomes a clinical-grade intervention you can have in your home.
Then there's the long-term view. The research on longevity and disease risk is, well, it's hard to ignore.
It is. The studies on people using a sauna 4 to 7 times a week are staggering. A potential 66% decrease in dementia risk.
And a 65% decrease in Alzheimer's risk.
Again, it all comes back to that consistency. You don't get those benefits using it once a month. You need that regular, frequent use.
Which is where that 20-minute heat-up time becomes so critical. It removes the biggest barrier to that kind of frequent use.
It makes it achievable. And on top of all that, you get a metabolic boost.
Right, the passive cardio workout. It can raise your heart rate to 110, 120 beats per minute.
Yes, similar to moderate exercise. So you're burning a few hundred extra calories just by sitting there. It's really about proactive daily wellness.
Okay, so let's shift to the real-world experience. The electrician has left, and a giant 428-pound crate is at your door. What's the assembly like?
You'd expect it to be a nightmare, but all the sources say it's surprisingly simple.
Really?
Yeah, they use something called the MagneSeal system. It's completely tool-free, no screws, no clips, no nails. The panels just sort of lock together magnetically.
So you still need 2 people because the panels are heavy.
You definitely need 2 people. But users report it only takes about an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. The overwhelming feedback is relief at how easy it was.
And the customer reviews seem to back that up across the board. The sentiment is very positive.
Extremely positive. People talk about the easy assembly, how well it was packed for shipping. And even when things go wrong, the support seems to be there.
You mean that story about the broken glass door?
Exactly. A door arrives shattered, which is a huge headache. But the reviewer specifically called out the customer service as excellent for getting it resolved so quickly. That says a lot.
And in terms of performance, are customers getting the results the company claims?
It seems so. They confirm it heats up quickly. They talk about tangible results like a drastic difference in their skin, less anxiety, better sleep.
And the build quality gets mentioned a lot.
Constantly. Phrases like very well built, sturdy, elegant. It feels like people believe the quality justifies the investment they made.
So let's boil it down. What are the clear pros and cons from all this?
On the pro side, you have that unmatched power and speed. The ultra-low EMFs of safety is a huge one. It's space efficient, the assembly is tool-free, and you get all those premium features, like the lighting and sound included.
And the cons, the honest downsides.
First and foremost, the price. It's a premium product with a premium price tag.
Yeah.
It's also strictly a one-person unit. No social sauna sessions here. Some users mention shipping delays. And, of course, the big one, that non-negotiable need for a dedicated 20-amp circuit.
That brings us to the big question. If we connect all this to the bigger picture, who is this actually for?
It's definitely not for the casual user. This isn't for someone who's just sort of curious about saunas.
So who is it for?
It's for the person who is, as the sources suggest, committed to their routine, serious. Someone who is ready to integrate this into their daily life.
We can probably pinpoint a few profiles, right? The serious athlete looking for faster recovery?
Absolutely. Or someone dealing with chronic pain who needs consistent relief.
Or someone focused on deep detoxification or just powerful daily stress management.
Exactly. It's for the person who values that high performance, who demands that safety, and who sees home wellness not as a luxury, but as a priority worth investing in.
So to wrap up, what's the final takeaway on the Sun Home Solstice?
I think it stands out by delivering on its core promise. It provides that deep therapeutic heat effectively and very safely. The ultra-low EMF, the low VOC materials, they prioritize user health. It really does seem to justify its price through quality construction and real therapeutic results.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? If you're ready to make a serious long-term investment in a top-tier therapeutic tool, for one, the sources suggest the Solstice really delivers. It gives you invaluable daily returns on stress, pain, and recovery. And that leaves us with a final thought for you to consider. When you look at the research, the claims of enhanced longevity, the reduced risk of dementia and Alzheimer's from frequent use, how does framing this purchase as an investment in a longer, healthier life change your perception of that premium price tag? If you're ready to explore this product further, you can find the link to the official Sun Home website in the description below. Go get informed, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
We rise like